Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
You know, you haven't heard much Ebola news in the news lately, and that's either due to two things. Either there's no more Ebola cases, or they're hiding the fact that there are Ebola cases to keep people from panicking. We got a case in point here. This is from Paul Joseph Watson today. New York City woman on Ebola watch list dies bleeding from mouth. Authorities say heart attack. Happens all the time. A woman who returned from Guinea 18 days ago and was on the Ebola monitoring list dropped dead in a Brooklyn hair salon yesterday after eyewitnesses said she began bleeding from the mouth and nose, but authorities later asserted that the cause of death was an apparent heart attack. FDNY activated the special operations and hazmat units after the woman who had traveled to Guinea 3 weeks ago, according to a source on the scene, died at Amy Professional African Hair Braiding in the Brownsville area, Brooklyn, reports the Daily Mail. Despite eyewitnesses reporting there was blood coming from the woman's face, nose, and mouth, health authorities claim that she had not displayed any Ebola symptoms and, in fact, had died of a heart attack. The woman, who is in her 40s, is being tested for Ebola, and the results will be announced later today. The salon was later decontaminated by hazmat, but people were allowed to walk in and out of the area while it was being decontaminated because, of course, that's what you do when you think you might have an Ebola case. Let people walk in and out of there. Let them step in the vomit. Let them pick it up. Who cares? Rub it all over you, just like Ebola did in that crazy video we played once here on the Infowars Nightly News. And who knows what's going on with Ebola? We're going to find out soon. I will tell you this. I've been getting a lot of emails on the whistleblower hotline of people saying they're bringing people in, they think it's Ebola, they're keeping it hush-hush. I'll call some of these hospitals, the PR people, administrators go, oh, no, we didn't bring anybody in. And then I'll call the source and say, hey, they said they didn't bring anybody in. They're like, no, they're at this door, and this is the code name they're giving them. And then I'll call the person back, and I don't get any calls back after that. So it's really weird. I don't know how many cases they are hiding. I'm sure they're hiding a lot. We've had reports from doctors of them whisking patients away. We've had reports down at the border they're whisking people away. We've had reports of people coming from Africa crossing over illegally. Who knows what is really going on, because we aren't getting the truth from the mainstream media, as we showed you earlier from that Washington Post article. But let's go on to this totally ridiculous bit of news. This is from Steve Watson. 10-year-old suspended for pointing imaginary ray gun. So it wasn't even a real ray gun, it was just imaginary. In a now all too familiar scenario, a fifth grader has been suspended in Massachusetts, of course, after pointing an imaginary ray gun and saying, pow. 10-year-old Nicholas Taylor was suspended for 2 days by officials at Stacy Middle School in Milford following an incident which took place in the cafeteria. Nicholas, who has no history of bad behavior, is said to have cut in line in the lunch queue and mouthed laser sounds coming from an imaginary ray gun, otherwise identified as his own finger, pointed at the other students in line. Nicholas told reporters that he was not pointing the weapon at any other students, but he was simply amusing himself. How dare he do that? Poor Nicholas. I mean, it just shows you how out of control it's gotten. Okay? We're going to let people walk through possible Ebola messes in hair salons, but somebody does this and goes, meow, meow, meow. We're going to suspend them from school? What is that teaching our kids? You have to ask yourself, well, it's teaching them to be slaves. It's teaching them to line up, be subservient to authority. I want to go to this oldie but goodie. This is a report we put out in January 25th, 2013, titled, Alex Jones Goes on Armed Rampage with Bubble Gun. Oh my gosh, this is an oldie but goodie that we produced. We'll be right back after this with an interview from Ray McGovern. It's the Infowars Nightly News, and I'm your host, Rob Dew.
You rolling?
Yep.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for coming here for the staff meeting. Alex will be joining us in just a few minutes. I'd like to thank my new assistant, Rob Dew, who's been demoted for this purpose. Now, I have a few stories I'd like to go over, but first, Darren McBreen, what do you have there?
Well, it's kind of interesting that the Chinese government recommends that our government starts confiscating...
Hold on, I'm sorry I'm late. Look at this.
Whoa, Alex.
Hey, man,
What's going on?
Check it out, man. We've got that office party, and, you know, I gave presents to all the kids at the Christmas party. I'm thinking that office party coming up. I'm thinking we'll have these as party favors. Check this out.
Alex.
You guys acting weird for me, man.
Hey. Alex, I have this article.
That's a bubble gun.
A 5-year-old girl was suspended after a terroristic threat when she brought a pink bubble gun, just like that.
What is this, a prank or something? We're supposed to be having a meeting.
No,
That's a bubble gun.
You can't have that stuff, Alex. You can't.
Does that have a
Yeah.
safety?
What are you guys freaking out
You can't bring that around,
Alex,
Alex.
that is a fully automatic bubble gun.
Listen, Jakari, I know you're joking. There's no story.
All right, look, Alex.
Hold on. Let me talk to Melissa. Melissa, what's going on? I don't know what's going on.
That's a bubble
They
gun.
almost arrested an elementary school girl last week for having a paper gun at school. That's.
But what is this about a bubble gun? The Hello Kitty thing?
Yes.
I thought that was a joke.
It's not a joke. This is not a joke, Alex Jones.
Terroristic threat.
Alex, I'm not going to be subjected to this.
It's a detergent.
Yeah, this
Guys,
is
come on. It's a bubble gun.
If that detergent gets in my eye, I mean,
That's assault.
Turn it
That's
off.
assault.
Turn it off.
This is the
It
workplace.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
This is the workplace.
The
That is
government says it's
inappropriate.
bad,
That is
Alex.
inappropriate.
Well, then talk some sense to them.
No, that you should see what they're saying.
Okay, well, what party favors can I have then? Look, it's bubbles, guys.
All right, everybody stay calm.
Hold on.
I have a
David,
phone.
Call the police.
All right.
David, talk sense to him. What the hell is going
Gotta
on?
stop this. No, he's getting too loud.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Somebody call.
It's crazy. It's
911. 911. 911.
Talk sense.
911.
I'm being held hostage by Alex Jones, the conspiracy theorist.
It's a bubble gun.
NBC says we should never.
It's a bubble gun.
Alex Jones, CNN.
Turn that off. Turn that off, man. Turn that off.
From the water table to our soils to the atmosphere itself, our world is becoming more and more toxic each and every day. But it's not just the air outside that's toxic. Indoor air has been shown to have 2 to 5 times higher concentrations of pollutants than even outdoor air. And most Americans spend 90% of their time inside using toxic chemicals within their homes. There are more than 42 million smokers in the United States. Well over 1,000 types of mold and mildew linked to numerous conditions. And don't forget the fact that 6 million Americans live with pets they're allergic to as well. When I began to research these statistics, it was clear to me it was time to start cleansing my lungs in order to combat the toxic environment that we cannot escape but that we can fight back against. Made with organic and wild cultivated herbs and manufactured in the USA, the new Infowars Life Lung Cleanse is here in a convenient spray bottle that can be brought with you throughout any toxic environment. Now available exclusively at InfowarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.